Open a kitchen drawer in any Vietnamese home, and you'll find it, the bag of bags, a soft, rustling sphere of plastic, packed so tight it feels like a pillow. In a world obsessed with canvas totes and zero-waste lifestyles, this looks like a dirty secret. It's the kind of thing that makes a Western environmentalist's eye twitch. You might think it's just a bad habit, a relic of a time before people knew better. But what if this plastic hoard isn't about wastefulness at all? What if it's actually the key to understanding a deep-seated cultural value of profound thrift and ingenuity?
Imagine this. You're on a bustling street in Hanoi. The air is thick with the smell of grilling pork and star anise. You order a bowl of pho to go, but you don't get a clunky plastic container. Instead, the vendor ladles the steaming hot broth into one bag, the noodles and beef into another, and fresh herbs into a third, smaller bag. She twists each one into a taut balloon, securing it with a flick of a rubber band. It's a liquid-tight system, a marvel of low-tech engineering. The crinkle of these bags is the soundtrack of daily life. They carry your morning coffee, your lunch, your afternoon snack. They're not just a convenience, they're the plates, bowls, and cups of the street. This isn't just about getting food from point A to point B. It's the first life of an object that is destined to have many. So what happens when that first life is over?
To understand the bag of bags, you have to understand a time when there was nothing. After the war, during the Thuê Bao Cấp, or subsidy period, Vietnam was one of the poorest countries in the world. Scarcity wasn't a concept, it was the air people breathed. Everything was rationed. A single plastic bag, if you could even find one, was a luxury item. It was a piece of miraculous, waterproof material that you treated with immense respect. You would wash it carefully, hang it out to dry, and reuse it until it literally disintegrated. My own grandmother used to say that throwing away a usable bag was like throwing away a bowl of rice. This mindset, born from decades of hardship, was baked into the generation that rebuilt the country. They passed it down not as a lecture, but through their actions, in the quiet, unconscious habit of folding and saving.
Now, here's something you'd never guess from the outside. That chaotic ball of bags isn't chaotic at all. There is a silent, sophisticated hierarchy at play. Not all plastic bags are created equal. At the top of the pyramid are the thick, glossy bags from department stores or high-end shops. These are the aristocrats. They get saved for important tasks, protecting documents from the rain, storing clothes, or carrying a respectable gift to someone's house. Below them are the workhorses, the mid-sized, sturdy bags from the supermarket. They have a respectable second life, carrying your lunch to work or holding produce. Then you have the commoners, the thin, flimsy bags from the wet market, still damp from holding vegetables. Their destiny is almost always the same. They become the liner for the small trash bin in the kitchen or bathroom. It's a complete, unspoken system of reincarnation.
Here is the thing that changes everything. In the West, we're taught to think of these as single-use plastics. The term itself implies a linear path, from the store to your home to the landfill. The entire environmental conversation is built around this idea of disposability. But in the Vietnamese mindset, there is almost no such thing as single use. The bag is multi-purpose. Its first purpose might be to carry groceries, but that's just its first job, not its only one. Its second, third, and fourth lives are already anticipated. The goal isn't to dispose of it correctly, but to exhaust its utility completely. It's a fundamentally different way of seeing the world. It's not about an object's end of life, but about its potential for its next life. The question is never, where does this go to die, but what can this do next?
Let me tell you about Auntie Nga. She has a tiny stall in my old neighborhood in Saigon, where she sells homemade soy milk. Every morning, people bring her their own glass bottles to be refilled. But for the carry-out bag, a fascinating exchange happens. Customers will often bring her their clean, saved plastic bags from home, the good ones. Auntie Nga inspects them, gives a nod of approval, and uses them for other customers. One day I asked her why she didn't just buy new bags. They cost next to nothing. She looked at me, not with judgment, but with genuine confusion. She said, these are still good. Why would I buy more? It wasn't about the money. It was about diec, a uniquely Vietnamese word that means a sort of sorrowful regret over wasting something useful. Her small stall was a node in a neighborhood-wide informal recycling network built on a shared, unspoken value.
So how does this habit survive today? Vietnam is a country of roaring motorbikes, glistening skyscrapers, and a booming consumer culture. That era of absolute scarcity is a fading memory for many and completely alien to the younger generation. Yet, the bag of bags endures. It's a cultural echo. It's a small, physical manifestation of a value system that prioritizes resourcefulness over convenience. For the older generation, it's instinct. For the younger generation, who might be ordering Grab food on their iPhones, it's a learned behavior, an unconscious nod to their parents' and grandparents' reality. It's a quiet way of acknowledging the past in the middle of a rapidly changing present. It says, we might have more now, but we will never forget what it was like to have nothing. The simple act of folding that bag is a thread connecting a modern condo to a post-war shophouse.
So that drawer full of plastic bags, it's not an environmental sin. It's a library of future solutions. It's a physical reminder that the most sustainable object is the one you already have. It represents a worldview that sees potential and purpose where others see only trash. This isn't about hoarding plastic. It's about honoring a legacy of resilience, of making do, of squeezing every last drop of usefulness out of everything you have. So the next time you see one, you won't see clutter. You'll see a quiet monument to a generation that built a future out of almost nothing. If this gave you a new way to see the small things, consider subscribing for more stories from Vietnam.